Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. The R-Rated Podcast. This week's guest is... Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Rebekah Lee. So today I want to talk about your journey in the film industry. So let's start from the beginning. Where are you from?
Okay, so originally, a lot of people think I'm from, I was raised in Florida.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think, that's where I was born.
Right.
I'm actually born right outside of Washington, D.C.
Right.
In Northern Virginia.
Very cool.
But then, I spent most of my life there. I would say I left when I was 20, transferred out to LA.
Okay.
Yeah, I spent a year there.
Yeah.
So pretty much, it's really crazy how my life has been and what journeys I've basically walked upon.
Right.
Because it's weird, because, when I was 16, I was an exchange student. So I lived in New York for a year.
Oh, okay. So you're, you're not scared of, traveling and trying new things. You're like, I love it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because I feel like at 16, that's pretty young. But, But, I feel like some people have the maturity level to do it.
Maybe it's a trauma. I don't know. I'm just going to get me out and do anything I can do. I grew up in a family, so so I'm Russian American.
Okay.
So
cool.
My mom's American, my father's Russian.
Right. Okay.
And so there's this different aspect, I think, when it comes to my identity. And
right.
also, trying to find myself.
Right.
I think that aspect of, being an immigrant is very interesting because my culture is not here.
Mm-hmm.
It is on my mother's side, but I've done Ancestry and my
oh cool, you did I literally just did it. I was spitting into the little tube and I was why am I not producing enough spit, because you can't drink, eat, or do anything, and I was just it took me 30 minutes to fill that up. But I just sent it in, so in 6 weeks. Oh no, so we can compare. I'll be what are you?
It's crazy because it's there's nothing. My family literally came on a boat and left everything.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what makes me ambitious. I love that. The other people in my family, especially the women I'm from, I grew up with a single mom.
And your mom always taught you make your own money, which I love that, because honestly my mom taught me the same thing. She was obviously, if a guy wants to take care of you, that's not a bad thing, right? Of course. Always make your own money, so that way if anything happens, you're not oh shit, I have nothing. You know what I mean? You can walk away and be I'm an independent woman with my own money, bye.
So I think I just grew up with that mentality, and I think that's how I'd want to have if I were to have children. Yeah. Especially if I was to ever have a daughter myself. Right. Totally. Always teaching that, no, keep going forward. Yes. Do not stop. Do not let your environment, do not let anything, anyone stop you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I kind of, am an AD. Yeah. You
have to have that strong personality.
You do.
Because, it's one of those positions where it's we're on a time constraint. We have to get done today. Boom, boom, boom. And it's you're not trying to be mean or anything, but you have to be assertive. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I feel that's a very interesting role, to take on anyway, just right now. Well, I applaud you for it, first of all, because you have to have a very strong personality, and you can't, honestly take from anyone, because if you're, seen as the weak AD, they're going to step all over you, and the production kind of goes to because, we're not going to listen to the AD, and it's kind of, all crazy, you know what I mean? You control it,
you do.
You keep it in line, so it's, basically we get everything done and everyone's happy, and we get out the same the time that we were supposed to, no overtime, no one's missing lunch or whatever.
Well, it's also I work in a field predominantly with men, and you
oh my god, I
know
you
understand
which we can talk about later too. How we've definitely dealt with the male ego on set, and it's it's not it has ended. It's not that was the one and only time.
It's still existing, and it's sometimes, I'm kind of it gets to a point where I am going to call you out because
which you should.
I'm tired and I'm exhausted, and and I think that's the thing is why I'm glad of how I was taught, because my mother teaching me that don't take shit
Don't
from
take,
men. Don't take the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I expect that in my work.
Exactly.
And that's the thing when I get to like male filmmakers, but especially white male filmmakers, it's I can do the bare minimum, not even the bare minimum, the least of bare minimum, and still get away with it. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna call you out, and you're not allowed to raise your voice at me because you are the one that owes not only myself an apology, but the entire team.
Yes,
we are now behind. Yes, you know, if I was running behind, I would apologize to everyone that I'm affecting. Right. You know, and it's kind of this. No, I can do what I want. Yeah. Because no one's corrected me. Right. Exactly.
You know? No one has called me out. No one has put me in my place. I can still get away with it. I mean, that's kind of with like anything that's been kind of shady in the industry. It's like people get away with it because no one's calling it out. No, you know what I mean? And it's like, but we're past that now. Like we're calling shit out now.
I have a lot of student debt.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you out. I will call you out. I deserve
that, like, for peace of mind.
Exactly. I did not go through that.
I know.
Just for you to yell at me. I mean, and I think as an actress, it's funny because, like, I have a really funny experience with Matt.
Okay.
Matt.
Okay.
You know Matt.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Matt asked me to be a background. Okay. Right. And it was for this film that his dad's friend, whatever, shooting at Hollywood Hills. Okay. And I was like, cool, when I. Yeah. And they're like, all right, you're party goers. Skimpy. You're all on drugs. And, you know, I'm like in these, like, my cleavage is out. Yeah. And Matt comes up to me like right before I'm about to come down to set because I was leaving another project. Okay. I just finished aging a music video, and then
you were gonna go act.
I was gonna go act.
Oh damn! Okay, we'd love to see a working woman.
And basically, you know, Matt was like, "Hey, the second AD, she has to step away. Do you want to hop on?" Oh, and I was like, all right, like, let me see, you know, let me see what's going on because it seemed like a very big project, right? And I was like, do I want to jump on to something that, like, how much, before I say yes, let me know.
Let me know what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah, because I don't want to also let
which
them
I
down,
totally get.
You know?
Because it's like, you don't want to enter and it's like a total show and it's like, it's all on you and you have to, like, kind of save it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I did not sign up for this.
No, exactly. And that's what exactly happened because I remember Matt was like, okay, she's going to be leaving. And so I'm meeting this producer. I'm not going to name him because he's not a big name. But he, Matt's like, hey, this is Rebekah, and she was I was talking to you about her being the, you know, stepping in for this other person. Yeah. And he looks at me, looks at my chest, looks at Matt. And
looks at my chest.
And we literally was like, she would be perfect for the cleavage scene. As Matt's like, I'm trying to make her as your assistant AD. You're gonna now talk about her cleavage, and I was just like, I know I'm pretty. But
I cannot believe it. The audacity,
and I got asked out on that set as well by another crew member.
I actually just made this comment like on another episode. I'm like, even on set, you're not safe when it comes to guys hitting on you or like wanting to ask you out on dates. Like literally, I was doing COVID testing for a production. I'm in full PP, like goggles, gloves, gown, like my mask. Like you literally can't even see me. I'm just a pair of eyes. Yeah. And this guy's like trying to ask me out to sushi, and I'm like, you don't even know what I look like. Like I literally could be like I could literally be anything. You have no idea. You don't even care. You just see my eyes. I thought it was crazy.
It's insane.
I thought it was crazy.
I mean, it's like I feel like I don't get asked out as much as a first AD because I'm so intimidating. So when I'm an actress, it's like, oh, she's pretty. Yeah, she's nice. She doesn't really do anything. Yeah. And I'm like, I remember him like when he asked, he was like, I'm not looking for anything serious. I was like, man, are you not going to buy me a drink at least? Like
at least a martini. Are you kidding?
Yeah, like, I'm giving you my time.
Yeah.
They're
time is everything.
For my time here. Exactly. Just to remind you, like, they are paying me to be here. Like,
let's not forget.
I mean, but I've been asked out at rap parties, and I prefer rap parties.
Because it's like it's done. You know what I mean? We're not still like seeing each other every day. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. It's like keep it a little classy and do it after we're done filming. Yeah. I think what threw me off is because it was like the first 2 weeks of production. So it's like, this shit's not over anytime soon, because it was gonna be like a 6-month process. So it was like, oh my God, this is not over. I don't have to see this person every single day. And it was just like awkward. Like every single day it was happening until one of my coworkers was like, you don't have to take that shit. Like we can report this person to Paramount. And I was like, I'm like, I was a little afraid and intimidated, but then I realized that I was so used to just being a girl and normalizing it and sucking it up. Yeah. That I was just like accepting it. I was just accepting the constant, like, making me feel uncomfortable at work. And I was like, fuck, you're right. I don't have to like deal with this. And I'm like, I can put my foot down and actually just be like, yo, stop, or I'm going to have to report you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I didn't even have to end up reporting it because someone else did, because he was doing it to someone else. So it's like, it ended up happening anyway, but still it's like, I'm done, like, kind of just like taking it. Like, I think we're just so accustomed as like women to just like deal with it and kind of just like, and like, we're like you said, we're in a male industry. So it's like, you literally just deal with it.
You deal with it because it's also like, I don't want to argue with you, because you've also seen what I've dealt with when someone
literally firsthand
you witnessed it, and it was kind of like
twice
in
the same day within an hour, like not even.
I was like, because I was like, no, you don't understand the sense of like, I want you to get home. Like, it's a point of like, and that same point is like, he's upset with me, but I'm like, you want to know why you're in this position? Is because the person you're being friends with. Right. I want you to be aware of that, because the conflicts that you've had during this production wasn't because of anybody else but that person, and you're being buddy, and that's why,
because it's guys, boys, but we're bros.
We're bros. We're two white dudes. The only white dudes besides the DP. Yeah. And I was just like. Like, I remember when he fired Hector, and I was like, have you lost your goddamn mind? Yeah. Like, I was just like, first of all, I don't know who you woke up as today.
And without even talking to us about it.
Not even to you. And I was like, this is your crew.
I know. And I've actually never experienced that. Like, I've never been on a set or like had a crew that like was like that. So it was like really like, honestly, it was shocking. Like, I think I had more shocking moments where I was just like, is this really happening? Yeah. And then by the time I realized it was happening, I was like, oh my God, I need to like say something and respond. Like, I was just like in such shock though, like so many different times on set where I was like, this is not happening. Like at the airport, the two things, like, with the guys like yelling at you. Oh, I was like, I've never been on a set that has like so much drama and conflict. And that made me sad too, because it was like, I'm directing this. Like, I don't want it to be like that. Like, of course, like, who would want their set to be like that? But like, at the same time, it was like out of my control at some points. And I was just like, damn, like, I don't understand these people. Like,
I don't either. And then there got to a point, because I remember, and see, that's the thing, is I always like to give chances. And then it's like, and see, the thing
and people can have bad days. Like, I get that.
Can have bad days. And it's also like, okay, if your job is pre-production mostly, I need everything done in pre-production, because once you give it to me, I'm expecting everything to be there so that I can give it to everyone else. Right. And that's what makes it smooth. Right. Like a smooth production. And that's what I kept finding was like, this wasn't done. And and we're freaking out. We're literally in the hotel lobby. So just like, I don't know what to do right now. Yeah. And I'm trying not to come off as like a raging bitch as society makes me. Right. But like
I'm about to flip.
That was like the one job that he had control of. And that was the one job that he f***ed up with. And I was kind of like, so how am I supposed to, like, I want to respect you. I want to give you dignity. Right. And you're not apologizing. You're just kind of like, this is how it is.
That's another thing. It's like, you have to take responsibility when you mess up, or when you don't pull through on something, especially like any job, but especially like on a film set when you're working together, like,
or when you're the producer,
and it's literally like a team job. Like, you do your part so I can do my part. If you don't do your part, domino effect, it's all going to go to shit. It's all going to go to shit. Which honestly, it would have if we didn't say it.
It wasn't for you and I.
No, 100%. Like 100%.
It was not for you and I. Like, I wish everyone who knew. I give you so much credit, because I literally remember you trying to work with this, and I'm angry in the sense of like, there were things that I saw that were very toxic masculinity. Totally. At the max. Totally. That I was like, at this point, I will just never work with you again, and I won't suggest someone to work with you at this point. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to sit there and, you know, try and find your reasoning.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You don't have to scoop to that level, you know?
You really don't, because there was a point I had a conversation. It was when we were in the cave in the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
And I asked the DP, and I was like, how's it looking? You know, we're talking about the shot list.
Yep.
And it gets to the point where it's like, oh, I haven't even looked at that.
I know. And to me, like, that is such a slap in the face, because the director and the DP are supposed to work really close together. Like you think I'm making a shot list for fun? Like, just so it can hang on my wall? Like,
no, of course.
No, like, there's a reason to why I'm making it. And it's like, that way, it's like our, like, language of, like, this is how it's going to go down, right? And it's like, and it all makes sense now, like, looking back at it. I'm like, why, like, was every scene, like, oh, like, what are we doing here? Like, what kind of, like, so, like, you know, he had no idea what I was talking about, because he never looked at the shot list. Like, he would have had an idea of what shots I wanted and, you know, how long things would take, because he would have looked at my shot list. And I'm realizing the last time he looked at my shot list was, like, when I, like, had a basic one, and we were, like, I had a production meeting that one time, remember?
Oh, yes.
That was, like, maybe he, like, glanced at it. But then I had, like, added new shots or taken away stuff, because I was like, oh, this, you know, like, we're shooting here and there. And he never looked at that new one. And then I'm realizing now, when I'm looking back, I'm like, oh, shit, like, he didn't look. That's why he kept asking me, like, what do you imagine here? Like, what kind of setup? But it's, like, a DP who looked at the shot list, but no, you know?
Well,
and it's, like, okay, I'm not trying to take it there and be petty, but it's like, you got this job because of me.
No, exactly.
I employed you.
No. Do we all remember that meeting?
Yes.
Where he walked in, and I'm just sitting here trying to think of a way to save this. And I'm like, God, we can't lose him, because I don't know what to, like, this is the old, and I'm just thinking, oh my God.
I know.
Why?
I know.
We could have gone in a different route.
I know.
We could have gone in a different route.
I know.
And
it was one of those situations where it's like, we really were planning to shoot a movie with, like, 30 different personalities.
Yeah.
That did not mix well.
No.
And I've honestly never been on a set like that. Like, it's like, at least the majority, or at least the head departments get along, right?
Yes.
It's like, at least, so, like, there's some kind of, like, chillness, coolness, respect.
Honesty. I think there was, like, you and I trusted each other.
Yeah.
It was like, at the very end, I would be like, what do you want? Like, I'm here to get what you want.
And I felt that, like, 100% you had my back. And I felt like, in the beginning, my producer had my back, but once that DP came on board, it was like a total switch.
You know, I have to ask you, because I found out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
So, was the pay different from what we all heard from?
For him?
Yes.
So, he didn't get paid the gaffing. No, he got paid for the gaffing part, but not the producing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the DP, did he still?
He got he got the 500, which I was like, so, I got less, dude. I mean, I got bare.
You and I, and see, that's
I literally got
thing. But see, we all agreed, and I see that was the crazy thing. Because I remember when he was trying, and when he cut my pay, and I called you automatically.
Yeah,
he cut my pay, and I was like, answer the goddamn phone.
I'll play right now.
I was like, call, get on the phone right now. You're gonna give me my money.
Yeah.
I busted my ass.
You did, and you really did. And it was not easy to deal with. And on top of that, we're shooting in a different city. We're not even shooting in LA. We're shooting in San Francisco. So it's like, you're not familiar with the, like, location. You know, we're going into this blind.
About San Francisco than I did.
But you really stepped up to the table. Like, in a moment where, like, it literally could have all fallen apart, because there was honestly 3 moments where it really could have fallen apart, which I think is, like, crazy to even say out loud that there were even moments it could have fallen apart like that. Like, because I just really feel like it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
But, like, obviously it was out of our control.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we were able to, like, come back up and still be able to finish and still be able to, not saying it was easy, but we did.
And that's how I see it, is that there were times where I get so happy because, you know, I learn from those things.
Right.
And, you know, I get to step out, like, when I'm done, I go and I'm like, okay, what can I do differently?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I remember always, you know, the one thing I always tell, because I think being a first AD, you work above the line and below the line. You're constantly communicating with both. You're having to always represent both.
Right.
And, you know, it's just the respect that you give.
It's all about respect.
It's all about respect.
For me, it's all about the respect.
I say this to everyone above the line because some of them forget so much. This so many times, but it's please and thank you. Just go a long way. And
it goes so far.
And especially to your PAs. You don't realize it, but, like, they are also busting their ass. Your gaffers, your grips, like, everyone. They're busting their ass. Just because you made the shot list, you're the one technically calling the shots.
But you're not better.
You're not.
Because everyone on set is still working the 12 hours, still putting in their, like, you know, they have to set up or they have to take everything down. It's like, maybe, like, they weren't, like, making a shot list, but, like, while they were home, but they were, like, they're setting up earlier than you and then leaving maybe even later to, like, take everything down. So it's, like, it all evens out. Like, everyone's doing the same amount of work. You know what I mean? It's, like, I think it's so stupid. They're like, oh, above the line, below the line. Like, I always say, I think it's just so fucked up. Like, I think it should be different. Like,
that's how
we should be saying different terms, you know?
And that's the thing. I'm like, what? I'm going to be honest. Like, I see, like, a producer, like, yeah, they're above the line, but I'm like, what do you do compared to, like, other departments where I'm like, they're considered below the line and would be not.
It's like the producer is bringing in the money, right? But it's like the grips are there every single day, carrying heavy ass, literally breaking their back, like setting everything up, moving things for you, taking it back down, dying on set for you, like, literally. And it's like the producer doesn't have to do anything on set.
They don't have to do any of it. And that's when I get upset with them because they're like, why is this happening? And I'm like, look, you have to realize you're not doing it. I want you to then go do it. If you want, like, it's when they start to fire people. I'm like, who's your replacement? You're just like, you can't do
and then, like, no replacement.
But that happens all the time.
Really?
It happens so many times.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When producers or
producers are the ones that can just fire people because they, like, hired or helped hire.
Yeah.
Wow.
But see, it's weird because, like, when they do it like that, like, for me, it was weird that he didn't even talk to me because I was like, but how are we going to shoot the movie? Because I tell you what you need. Like, I didn't come to you and be like, hey, we don't need this person. We don't need I've done that. Like, skeleton crews. Like, great, let me go through it with you.
Right.
I make that for you. We're deciding that. But you just, I send out the call sheets and you're literally like, oh, I fired that person. No. But it happens. It happens because I think it's a power thing. Ego. It's a power. It's a control. It's an ego. It's something that shows. It's like I guess it's showing their eyes off. It's like, look, I can fire you whenever I want, and I'm like, insane. Okay, but who are you replacing it with? Because we still need that position filled. Exactly. You're just firing a dude because you have beef with him, you don't like. Yeah, it's stupid. You feel less masculine. I don't know why, and it happens, and I'm just kind of like, if I did that to another woman,
that's what I was thinking. Like, you just wouldn't.
It wouldn't. And see, it goes back to the way that we're raised.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I think for a lot of us, we see so many things, we go through so many things, and you know, I think when it comes to certain people, there is a privilege, and all of us can look within us and see our privilege. I know mine especially, but then it's like when you have one group sitting there and just attacking every other minority. You know, and that's what I see on set.
Ooh, still see it a lot because you know how they're trying to, like, there's been change in the film industry. Like,
I got cussed out on set.
I mean, but another time, or were you talking about
just with you? Okay.
I was like, I'm like, oh my god, yeah. Well, and I want to, like, get to that, and I'm also like, because I know you started. You wanted your main thing that you want to do is acting, but kind of what pays the bills is AD, right?
Yeah.
So how we met on set was for the movie Still, which is not out yet, but soon. Do you know when it comes out?
It should be coming out within
like this year. Yeah. Okay. Kennedy, you're watching this?
Let us know. I'm pretty sure.
I want to go to the screening.
No,
so
exactly. I would love.
But so we met on Still. I was doing wardrobe. Rebekah she was ADing, and I immediately, like, you stood out to me, like, immediately because, you know, like, for me, it was like my main thing's writing and directing, but when I was doing independent stuff, the wardrobe was kind of like what was paying the bills for me. So when I saw you there, and I was like, damn, I was like, she just nails it as an AD. Like, she has that confidence, that drive. She's assertive, like, but like perfect assertive, like not too where it's like, oh my God, like she's mean to me. You know what I mean? It's like the perfect balance. And so when I saw you, I was like, if I ever shoot like a, you know, short film or anything, like I'd want to work with her. And that was like in the back of my mind. And then like a couple months later, you know, I was able to have that happen. We, you know, short film came to me. Basically, I was like offered to do a short film. It was the first time directing something that I haven't written myself. So that was another thing. Where we were using actors that weren't actually fully trained actors from another state. So that was like another thing. And we were shooting in San Francisco and like in the middle of the desert, so we weren't shooting in our like usual, you know, LA city. Not what we're used to at all. So, and we're also doing this all independent, so you know it's a lot different than having a big studio backing you and like endless amount of money. But anyway, again, like first person that came to mind for AD was Rebekah, because I was like, first of all, I was like, I remember her work ethic. Plus, I think it'd be amazing having a female help me be an AD, because I've never had that. And I mean, why wouldn't I want to do that, right? And so I just felt like it worked like right away. And I thought you were like really professional and how you handled everything. So naturally, I thought everything was gonna go smooth. But you know, it's part of production where things don't, but like what makes you a good filmmaker and crew member is how you solve it. You know, how are you gonna problem solve this, or are you just gonna let it go to shit? And I feel like even with all this crazy shit that had happened, you still were able to like have your head high and still be like, I'm getting this shit done. Like, I'll deal with you later, but like, you know what I mean? And that's what I respected. I was like, that's a bad bitch. You know what I mean? That's a boss bitch. Let me correct that.
You know, I think as an actor, because I think what it is like, I mean, you say, like, I mean, I had to choose, because, I mean, I loved acting. Acting is what I have my degree in. Right. I had showcases. I had projects lined up. Pandemic hits.
Oh, I know. The pandemic screwed
everyone. I lost everything, and I have to, and it was kind of like, all right, what am I really good at that I can get a job easily? Right. Because then it became where everyone's sitting in self-tapes, everything, like it became so oversaturated at a point. Yes. And I have been lucky, you know, I was able to score like a national brand photo shoot.
Fun. So, okay. We love photo shoots.
Like I get these opportunities, but they're not like ADing where I have that, I guess, protection where it's like, I know every month I'm going to have at least one AD project.
Right. And that's what stressed me out. Being an independent like filmmaker, I was just like, 1 month you're good, 1 month you're starving.
Exactly.
It was like really stressful for me. And like, you know, I feel like you're really good at handling and being able to like do that whole independent stuff. And like, I feel like not a lot of people can manage it that well. So that's really impressive.
I mean, I grew up probably in a very unleveled community society. I mean, I guess like my viewpoint on life too is like, I mean, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I think like my work gives me some sort of reason. You know, I think like a lot of people would say that's unhealthy. I think it gets to a degree. I mean, like, I suffer from burnout. I know, like, after film school, I was like, I don't want to touch acting for a while. Like, I was like, I don't want to look at a monologue or anything. I need time or I will get burned out. Right, you know?
Right. Which it's such a thing in the industry, honestly.
It really is.
It's the hours, too.
It
like,
is.
I was, like, doing these hours, waking up at 4 a.m. for, like, literally 3 weeks straight, and my eye bags were just getting so big, and I was, like, losing energy. Like, I was getting irritated because I was, like, lack of sleep. And then you're, like, drinking coffee at, like, 4 a.m., so I'm sure that's not good for you. No. You know what I mean? And I was just, like...
3 cups of coffee. You would never do
it on a regular day. Like, no, I never used to drink coffee.
No, exactly. I'm the same.
I never used to drink coffee.
No, it's crazy because, like, I sit there and I'm like... Do I just accept this? Do I accept the treatments? Because, like, I mean, I go to a therapist weekly.
Which we love therapy.
We love therapy.
I say this to him, like, dude, if you can afford therapy, if you have it, like,
better
use that. If you're not 26 yet and you're still on your parents' insurance, use that.
Please. I mean, because honestly, you need therapy to survive in the industry.
You do.
Because I'm sitting there thank God for Shannon, my therapist, because
Shout out Shannon.
I will complain to her about set. And it's this, like, am I crazy?
Yeah.
Am I overreacting?
Right.
Or like, no, you have an actual, like, no, this is good. This is fine.
It's okay. You're feeling that way. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that we're taught to just take it in, take it. Like, don't say anything. Don't be a problem. Yeah. And it's like, when crew came up to us and I found out about the problem that was at hand.
Yes.
What I was upset with is I was like, this is not the place. This is not the time.
Right. Let's talk about timing, right?
About being upset is valid.
Makes sense,
because I would be upset
as well.
Well, if I was being told one thing and I had
other things were happening.
And other things were happening. And also, this is involving money. These are people's bills.
Right.
And you know what really caught me? And this is what I remember from him.
Yeah.
And when we were talking, because I was like, he was like, I lost money. And I was like, that's not my fault. I begged the EP for more money.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah.
I did.
I know.
I had to tell him, look, if you want these, I'm letting you know, and you remember this, I was like, you are going to need like an extra $5,000.
Yeah. Okay. So back to where we were talking about, how the crew members were being treated and how they like were voicing it to you.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, when it happened, it wasn't the right time to bring it up. But I also get, like you're saying, it's people's money. It's people's, like, paying their rent. It's their responsibility. So they're going to want to make sure that they're actually going to get paid and be in good hands.
Yeah.
And I would never want anyone to think that on my production they weren't on good hands, because I really do want everyone to, like...
That was the thing that was so surprising, was that you and I...
had no idea.
And that was the thing about the entire film, was like, there was a lot of things
that we didn't know about.
That we didn't know, but it wasn't because, like, we weren't asking. It was like, we were getting different answers.
Yes.
We weren't being told the same answer. So it's like, like, it was more of like, what? Like,
yeah.
What's happening? Because, like, the last time I spoke to this person,
that's not what was told.
That was not what was told to me. It wasn't like, oh, I never thought you'd have a problem with that.
Yeah. No, I know.
I mean, I think also because, like, as an actress, like, I mean, when you go to film school, you learn from filmmakers.
Yes.
Like, we're not seen as the most prioritized,
I know.
You learn about, like, people's importance on set.
Right.
And it's very toxic in that sense, but, like, I think that's where I kind of get it, where, like, everyone's meant to be there for a reason.
Exactly. They got hired on for a reason. They obviously have some kind of talent. They're good at what they do. They're hardworking.
I mean, it's
like, if they're on time,
if they're on time, if it's, like, I mean, background PAs, anyone crafties, who's ever doing whatever, because I'm going to tell you, you're not doing that.
Right.
So why are you complaining?
Right.
Because you're not doing
You wouldn't want to go do it.
You don't want to do that job. You didn't apply for that job.
Exactly.
That's below your pay rate.
Right.
Like, don't sit there and degrade somebody on their job when
you won't do it.
You won't do it. And I know that if they weren't here, you'd be complaining.
Right.
Because you're complaining right now. You're complaining with them already here.
Exactly.
I mean, it's...
How have you learned to deal with situations like that? Like, because this was like about almost like not fully a year, but like a little less than a year. So, like, what would you say you maybe have learned to, like, do, how to, like, treat these people or act differently towards them, like, or react? Like, how do you handle people like that?
I guess, when you handle difficult situations, I mean, honestly, what I learned was, like, I guess there's so many things that are going to be out of my control. And I think in that situation, I was like, it was like the first time that I was really, like, nothing was in my control. And I'm, like, constantly having to just go with it.
Right.
And it was, like, the first time that I had that, like, to that severity, that it's like, that's going to happen. And you're constantly just going to have to push. I also think, like, when you're in those rough spaces, like, I mean, the commentary, just the ways that, the respect that was not there. I know that, like, not everyone is going to like me. Not everyone in life is gonna like you.
And I think I learned that in high school.
I did. And that was the thing that I was like, I don't care if you
like
don't
me.
Like me. I don't. And this is the thing that I make clear to my crew now, though, is that if I yell at you, or if I come off mean, please don't take it personal,
right?
Because I need you to be aware is that we're running behind. And on this last shoot that I did this weekend, there got to a point where, like, every time we would cut, everyone would start talking again.
And they would like lose focus, right?
We would lose focus, and I can't hear my team.
You're not gonna be shouting over people.
I'm
like,
not
it's
shouting.
Like you're not at the club.
No, but also like this conversation.
We're working too. It's like
has nothing to do with what's happening. I don't care what he did or what's happening in your personal life. I'm sorry, but it literally got to a point where it's like I was like, guys, I'm getting tired of asking you to be quiet.
Yeah,
like, it's now that we're adults. I shouldn't have to ask you
constantly like shh. Like it's not. Yeah,
it's not that serious, dude.
Like
and I've had crews though that like you say be quiet, they're quiet, like, and they listen, and that's what I love.
So it's like when you experience stuff like that, and then you go to a crew that like doesn't listen and is all like rogue. You're just like, what the.
And it's crazy because I'm also like, how can I help? How can I fix it? How can I hear you? How can I? I don't want to disappoint anyone. And even when I look back and, with this person, I don't hate them.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you just don't work well together.
Yeah.
And that's honestly what I learned too. It's like, there's just going to be people that you don't work well with, and there's going to be people that you work great with. And it's like, this is just one of, like, we just have this type of job where it's like, you're just going to have to work with them to really find out if you do work well with them or not. And I think after that shoot, I'm like, okay, I definitely know who I can't work with and who I want to work with.
Well, and see, that's the thing. I mean, and it's also like looking at different aspects. I mean, it's like, could someone just be really stressed, or is there something more serious?
Right. Or is that just their personality?
Is that just their personality? Like, they're just a
is this
garbage person who says garbage things to people, and it's like, I guess, like, and even in that situation, like, I guess as a woman, I mean, I've experienced domestic violence personally, and when I had that happen, it triggered in me, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah, I can't even imagine. Like, of course, because you're like, this shouldn't be happening at work.
Yeah, and that was the thing where I'm like, this has now crossed a boundary, and that's why I made it clear to Daniel. I was like, if we were ever on any other set, if this was a union project, if this was a studio project,
that wouldn't have been
he would have been probably escorted by security off of location.
Yeah,
because it gets to the point where I'm like, I get it. If you are like, but at the same time, this is the person that I'm speaking to, an owner of a coffee shop, and he comes up to me and he's like, where's her coffee? I don't care where her coffee is. Whose coffee?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care. But it's that entitlement. Yeah. And I sit there also as an actor, and I'm like, I would never act this way to my first AD, to anyone on crew, my second AD, my PA, my anything. I would not act that way.
Yeah.
And then when I find from him, oh, I own a production company, I have this. And I'm like, so you
should know the ethic.
So, you should know the ethics that are here. But I mean, in that situation, I've had to learn, and I think with the pandemic and this year too, and why I'm so big on changing my life. I mean, what happened, and I think what caused me to be moved behind the camera was really terrifyingly in my domestic violence situation. I was punched in the face. But
oh my God.
It was before an audition. And with an audition was one of the top casting agents in Hollywood. All of her movies go to Oscars.
Holy shit. Oh my God. I'm like,
no.
What an overwhelming sentence.
I know, it's so overwhelming.
I was like, punch in the face and like Oscar movies, I'm like, should not be in the same sentence.
It was a feature film based on a novel, and fit the character. And I think what hurts me is like I never got a response back, and I'm like, I would rather know that like you didn't cast me because I don't fit the part rather than you saw me at this moment. And I remember him saying to me after, like as I'm kicking him out, he was like, you're not gonna get the part.
Wow, that's evil.
That was the thing, and so I think that I got this fear of being in front of the camera, because literally the day after it happened, I am recording in my apartment. I have my friend helping me. We have like 3 scenes to get done.
Yeah.
And I'm writing, like, I have to do like a we transfer. And I'm like, if you need me to resend this, like, please let me know. Never got a response. And I mean, like, I think that was like, I need time.
Yeah.
like, that was very traumatizing.
Of course, that would be traumatizing for anyone. I feel like I can't even imagine that. Like, that would really, like, it's like, I would feel like it'd break your trust. Like, it breaks, like, your confidence, too. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you never would think that somebody would, like, take it to that step of, like, actually, like, hitting you, let alone in the face. Well, see, that's them, like, not giving a about people knowing that they're hurting you too. Like, that's a whole nother level of, like, aggression and evil.
And it's sad because, this person and I, like, we don't have contact. He has moved on with his life.
Yeah, as he should. Bye.
And that's the thing. It's like, if any, like, this goes out, like, no one, if you know him, please do my friends. Like, I know, like, my friends literally, when they found out, they were like, we're gonna kick his ass. And I was like,
I'm surprised,
please.
Like,
no, like, literally.
Hey, but karma is a bitch, and karma will find you.
And I think that it also, I get so used to men sexualizing me and when I'm an actress.
See, like, we're used to it again. Like, you just normalize it because that's what you're used to.
Normalizing the sexuality. And so it was like, okay, here's a job where I'm in control. I'm kind of the boss of men. And they can't, like, they can somewhat, they can't cross a boundary with me, And then when we were on that set and I was like, oh, you crossed this boundary. Oh my God, what do I do? And it's kind of, and I think what reassured me is everyone else saw it. And I think that it was like, no, we all know that was wrong.
No, that was so
and
wrong.
So out, like I was just, I think what I was just shocked about was like, I just told you to get in the car. Like, I was just
I know.
Why? Are
know.
you tired? I'm tired.
We're all tired. Obviously, we're all tired. We've all been shooting. We're in the middle of the desert. It's cold. Thing. Like, I have sand in my ass. Like, in my eyes, like, none of us want to be here right now.
Well, and that's the thing, like, you and I kept talking about it because it's like, well, they had the day off before, and you and I didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you are tired, I'm tired, but I'm still going. I'm still, like,
but we're not complaining about it, even though we were exhausted.
And I also was like, dude, you don't understand. Like, I got crew to get home. If they don't get home at this certain time, we're have overtime. To pay them.
Yes.
You're not realizing.
You can't just be like, oh, sorry, you got home 2 hours later than you were supposed to.
Exactly.
That's not how it works.
You were in the airport. That already happened.
I know.
It already happened.
You were there.
I was like, you can't. And see, that was why I was like upset with both of them, because I was just like,
for good reason. But also, it's like, even in a situation where, let's say, you were butting heads, like, or two department heads were just, like, not getting along or whatever the fuck it is, like, there's a time and a place, and he should have taken you aside and honestly talked to you privately if you felt some type of way about, like, you telling him to do something. But it's like, don't take it so personal. First of all, it's not like, it's just like everybody was supposed to get the fuck out of there. It wasn't like singling anyone out. It's like, wrap up, let's go. It's like, nobody's gonna sit there and cry like, she told me to back up.
Well, it's like, the crazy thing is, like, I made it aware when you guys were shooting. Yeah, that's all.
And that's literally your responsibility on set, is to stay on track with time. So it's like, why get mad at you for, like, just literally doing your job?
Well, no, because that's what I get all the time. I get directors all the time. It's like, you can't tell me what time it is. I'm like, all right, I'm going home. Bye, guys. Yeah. Nice. I'm gone.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, I think, an ego thing. And it's like, and I love, like you said, I love working with women too, because it's not
that's there. Not there. Yeah.
What am I gonna? Oh, like, what?
No.
Nothing. There's nothing there for me to compete with you about, because I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And I mean, and also, I think women are bad bitches, and we
hell yeah,
and like there's no excuses, or like if like I just find that women, honestly, like, when you call them out, they're typically going to own on their shit.
Yeah.
But men don't do that.
No, they're like, no,
they're
what?
like,
what? No.
I'm sorry. No, like, when I have, like, some of my girls, like, when they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm like, thank you for just acknowledging the fact that you fucked
acknowledging
up.
It is so huge. I feel like it's so underrated. Like, I feel like people always think, like, oh, you need this, like, grand, like, apology. It's like, no, honestly, just acknowledge you fucked up, and that's good enough for me. Like, sometimes an apology seems, like, too fake, like, anyway. Like, it's just like, I only want it if it's real and it's genuine. So, like, honestly, you just taking accountability for, like, your shit is good enough for me. Well, and just don't disrespect me.
It's also like, there gets a time where I tell my directors, I tell the producers, I'm like, when you act that way, like, do apologize. Like, I do make that clear to my crews and to my teams. I'm like, look, please do not take it personal. Or, like, if you come ask me, I will make it so clear that, like, I want to get drinks with you. Like, please. I still want to get drinks. Like, I appreciate you. Now, you will be aware if I don't want to work with you afterwards. But it's like, you know, there's just this, like, oh, because she's a bitch or she yells or she, you know.
See, like, why does you raising your voice to tell people what to do make you automatically a bitch? When a man can do the same thing and they're not going to call him a bitch.
And that's a good point.
You know what I mean? It's like, why is it always like that? Like, it's just like a stupid stereotype that we need to break.
And I think that's true. And I think because it's like, you know, once that moment that I did stand up and start yelling and I was like, get in the car, it was met with, I am now going to put you in your place. And I'm sitting there like, I swear to God, if you don't get in the goddamn car. I was just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, she has gotten this far in her goddamn life, being the woman that she is, and you are going to hold her back and be like, she can't walk out of an RV even though she just half blind down the cave. I'm like, this woman's a bad bitch. She can get out that car just like she don't need you. And if she don't need you. And that's what it kind of upset me, where I was like, I felt like she could get changed, put back into her clothes, and get back into the car perfectly fine. She didn't make it aware to any of us to say, hey, by the way, when we, like, rap, I just really asked, you know, I need this from you guys.
Right, which we would have done.
Which I would have been like, oh my God, of course. Like, like, let me do it for you. It was met with, I have to help her because she needs me. From what? From what? You know, what are you going to do? Because right now, again, we're losing money and, like, you're causing it. And then you know who's going to hear about this?
Just by wasting time arguing.
Exactly. And it's like, I don't want to argue with you. Just do it. Like,
literally, like, why are we arguing in the middle of the desert?
You know, exactly. And I was like, I don't care. I want to go home. And, you know, I have crews that I work with. There are people that I work with time and time again because they're positive energy. And I think that's what I changed now. I want so much for the set to be positive. I recently worked on a music video for Dana and Danny. They are on the Keenan show. They're these superstar. They're so cute. They made the music video. And I'm looking at these, like, they're like 10 years old, busting their ass. And I'm like, what do we have to complain about? Like, we're here so that they can have something. And I think it was like, I have to take what I can. You know, I have to take every experience the way that I can. And I can be upset. And I can be exhausted. And I can be tired. And that's going to happen. But that's going to happen in many things.
Exactly. Like, are you going to let it, like, weigh you down? Or are you going to learn from it and know what you want to work on next and not? You know, like, what type of people you work well with. And I feel like it's all learning. It's crazy. As crazy the set was, it was such a, like, eye-opening experience. And I feel like I did take away a lot. I mean, it even, like, not even willingly did I want to, like, produce, but I ended up having to produce out of it. And now I'm like, now I have the confidence to start producing my own stuff, which I didn't have before. So that was, like, something I took away from it.
Exactly.
Because when you're literally pushed into a corner where you have to, like, step up and do it, you do it. Well, I'm super excited to see your journey. And I think you're going to have an amazing career and success in acting and assistant directing. So, and I hope that
cast me.
No, seriously, I was just going to say that. I was going to follow up with, I hope we can work on more projects together. I hope that first one didn't scare you away from working.
No, I was like, I thought the same thing. I was like, Priscilla hates me.
No.
I am terrible.
No, not at all. Because, I'm like, I was like, she has my back. She's in my corner. She gets me. I was like, we to hang out. And I'm sad that it was so it's so overdue. Like, we definitely need to hang out. I hate being one of those people. It's like, yeah, we'll hang out. And then we never do it. I don't want to be one of those people. So I do want to hang out.
Of course.
But I also want to work on a project together.
Yes,
so
let's make it happen. I will always be
Thank you again so much for coming on and sharing everything. And I hope to have you back.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Oh, no. Thank you.